Now, technically, he met Grace in 1987 when she worked at Mr. Chow. Grace was born in Kilmichael, Mississippi, and has African American and Blackfoot Indian heritage. She used to be a flight attendant with TWA and then became a model. But also in the 1990s, Robert would be seen around town with a photographer named Anne Marie Fox. They date briefly, but ultimately he found love in Grace, and they would move in together in 1996. Then, of course, there were rumors of them wanting to get married, especially after she was seen wearing a 10-carat emerald cut diamond engagement ring that was speculated to cost more than $100,000. The rumors also stated that they were working out a prenuptial agreement. But on June 17th, Grace and Robert got married in New York in front of about 12 people, including Joe Pesci, who was his best man, and friend Harvey Keitel. They had their reception dinner at Deputy Canal House in High Falls, New York. Their dinner consisted of a 5-course meal that had a wakame and lobster and rice paper and poussin breast with cranberry quince stuffing. I hope I pronounced that right. 10 months later, they would welcome a son, Elliot, into the world. He would be born on March 18th, 1998. By summer of 1999, sadly, Robert would tell Grace that he actually wanted a divorce. They weren't agreeing on how to care for their son, as they were learning that he had developmental challenges, in addition to just Robert and Grace having lifestyle issues. Now, Robert bought Grace a 3-bedroom condo in Trump Palace. In March 2000, they signed an agreement regarding financial support not only for Grace and Elliot, but also worked out the details of the custody arrangement. Now, this situation got uglier as they were on a boat with Mark Anthony and his wife at the time, and Grace alleged that she saw Robert fooling around with the wife of the captain of the boat. Now, Robert obviously denied that, and then he would claim that Grace actually fractured his ribs and would file a motion requesting unsupervised overnight visits and a legal guardian appointed for Elliot. The following month, allegedly, Grace would say that Robert had a drug and alcohol problem and shouldn't be with their son alone. Ultimately, with all the back and forth and the he said, she said, the judge felt like they just needed to quote, be evaluated by a court-approved psychologist. They would eventually resolve their issues because by the summer of 2003, they would resume living together. In the following fall, they'd actually renew their vows in front of 150 friends, including Martin Scorsese, Meryl Streep, Harvey Keitel, Tom Brokaw, Ben Stiller, and all of Robert's children. The dinner was catered by Nobu, and the wedding cake was a raspberry Napoleon baked by Daniel Boulud, and everyone sipped on Veuve Clicquot. Now, years would go by without much news about the couple, but in the summer of 2011, they would actually do something that would shock a lot of people, press and otherwise. Grace and Robert would become parents again. They would have their daughter Helen Grace with the help of a surrogate. Now, at the time, Grace was 56 and Robert was 68. Can you imagine having a baby at that age? By November 2018, their 20-plus year marriage would come to an end when they separated, this time seemingly for good. Robert would release a statement that read, quote, Grace and I have 2 beautiful children together. We are entering a period of transition in our relationship, which is a difficult but constructive process. I honor Grace as a wonderful mother and ask for privacy and respect from all as we proceed to develop our roles as partners in parenting. He had a good publicist. His statements were always just chef's kiss. But anyway, since then, it seems apparently that they've both moved on. Grace is continuing her work with Coffee of Grace, her coffee brand that has different blends made by Rwandan farmers, and of course, being a mom to Elliot and Helen. And Robert is currently dating Tiffany Chen, a martial arts instructor that he met back in 2015 when they were both working on the movie The Intern. And just last month, we all learned that they welcomed a child together, baby Gia Virginia Chen De Niro. And friends, that wraps Loving Week on I'll Tell You What. Now tell me, what do you remember about Robert and Grace? Did you know any of this? You let me know. And don't forget to come back for another episode of I'll Tell You What, but also please follow us everywhere you can, especially the 2 of you. See you in the pews.